How is everyone doing? My name is Moy Fung. I am your host today at the BBPA's Ask a Professional. I'm always so thrilled to be here, and today is going to be an exceptional session. We're in for a treat today because we know the board members play a crucial role in the success and sustainability of nonprofit organizations, right? So today we get to meet the board of directors at the BBPA. So I welcome you. Please do share this link with your friends and your colleagues. It's going to be an exceptional session. I'm so pleased just to be here. Charles is here with us, as well as Janelle St.Omer. You'll hear more about them momentarily. But first, what I'd like to do is I'd like to welcome our chair, our board chair. His name is Ross Cadastre, and he will be sharing a message with us this morning. And then we get to speak to the other board members. Good morning, Ross. How are you doing?
I am doing awesome. Um, Good morning or good afternoon, everybody. I know I was advertised to be part of Ask a Professional this week, and unfortunately, we've been called to some meetings in the capital, in the nation's capital. So we're taking care of Black business in the capital. So I will be on our next Ask a Professional with the rest of our board of directors. But I just wanted to just wish everyone a happy Black History Month. Um, you know, I just wrote an article on my newsletter on LinkedIn that talks to Black History Month should not be celebrated just for a month; it should be celebrated all year. So, and I think it's important for the work that we do as a community that we celebrate excellence in our community. So, we are here. We have two dynamic board members, our vice chair, Janelle St.Omer, and our director out of Calgary, um, Charles Buchanan, who will be sharing with you today. And I will try to listen in as much as I can, but I'm commuting right now to another meeting. So thank you all for joining. Thank you for supporting the BBPA, and I look forward to more learnings and more information through Ask a Professional. So thank you.
Thank you so much for that, Ross. And you're absolutely right. I totally agree with you where the Black History Month is concerned. It shouldn't be limited to a month. And I think ultimately that's why I really love the BBPA, because your work is dedicated to the Black community and it's all year round. So thank you, BBPA. I know I do this almost every session, but I really have to big you up for just the incredible work that you do continuously. It's not limited to the 28 days of a month. It's all year round. So we certainly appreciate that. So as we speak about Black History Month and we're highlighting just the crucial roles roles that is played by these board members where non-for-profit is concerned, I do want to just call our first guest, as you mentioned her name earlier, Janelle St.Omer. She's the vice chair here at the BBPA. So glad to have her. And Janelle, you can join me on the virtual stage when you're ready. But what I'll do is I'll go through her bio, and then we'll come onto the virtual stage, and then we'll have a bit of a conversation where we get to know our board members a little bit more. I think it's a great way to highlight these individuals during the month of Black History. But again, we do it all year round, so it's all good. So Janelle is vice president of impact and inclusion at Brevity, where she has built her career for the past 7 years. She's responsible for leading Benevity's ESG and DEI strategies, working to embed ethical, sustainable, and equitable practice into the business. Before joining the team at Benevity, Janelle worked in both the corporate and non-for-profit sectors, where she consulted on employee engagement, program design, led employee fundraising, volunteering, and corporate partnerships, most notably at the TD Bank Group. Janelle has a strong background in social impact, employee engagement, and DEI. Janelle is a highly focused and thoughtful leader, and those who work closely with her say she's the kind of female powerhouse who you want to align yourself with and learn from. She is a 2021 Canada's Top 40 Under 40 nominee and was selected as 2011 Diversity Fellow, a fellowship for rising city builders through civic action, and is a member of the Emerging Leaders Network. Janelle is an entrepreneur, small business owner, and co-founder. She's regular webinar facilitator, industry speaker, and host on Benevity's Social Impact Show. Janelle is the former president of the St. Lucia Toronto Association, Junior Achievement and Black People in Technology Network volunteer. She has also served as fundraising director for the Likan Alloway City Council campaign. Janelle loves to travel, volunteer, does Zumba and plays tennis. She supports children's health, racial justice, and youth development causes. Janelle, how are you doing today? So glad to have you.
Thank you, Moy. I'm wonderful. I'm so happy to be here with everybody and to meet the community. So thank you for having me, and happy Black History Month to everybody. As Ross said, it's a very exciting time for us all, but I'm a firm believer that this should be more than 28 days as well. So I'm excited to talk about the board and what we're doing, and a little bit about Black excellence and my views on that. So thanks for having me.
Well, reading your bio, and you must know, when it comes to reading bios, that's one of my least favorite things to do. But how bios are typically so high level, but it's really highlighted just the wonderful work that you've been doing in the community for the many years. So I really do appreciate you, even as you talk about Black excellence. So thank you so much, Janelle, for being with us. Thank you for the work that you do as board member, vice chair, specifically at the BBPA. But without further ado, I do want to welcome our next guest. He's the director, Charles Buchanan. He's the founder and CEO of Technology Helps. He spent nearly 3 decades in corporate technology leadership, management, and consulting and entrepreneurship, with senior roles at Suncor Energy, Deloitte, Oracle, MNP, and Royal LePage. He has also started and worked with numerous technology companies in many areas that span online games, fintech to environment protection. As the principal of a management consultancy, he has provided expert advice and implemented large-scale technology solutions for clients like Bell, Enerplus, TELUS, Government of Alberta, Canada Post. Charles is a passionate contributor to the community. He does not see it as volunteering and has served on not-for-profit boards for the past 20 years, including being board chair at Center for Newcomers. He currently serves as a founding board member of Calgary Black Chambers, a member of the GAIN team at United Way of Calgary and area, grant committee at Calgary Foundation, entrepreneur mentor at Venture Mentor Services of Alberta, and board member of the Common Approach to Impact Measurement Finance Board committee member at the Momentum founder and advisory board member of Uprising Academy, helping talented at-risk youth in Jamaica in STEM and sports. He holds an MBA from the Smith School of Business at Queen's University and a BSc honors in electrical computer engineering. When recharging, Charles can be found on the golf course or hiking in the beautiful mountains near his home in Calgary. Charles.
Oh, thanks, Moy.
You're both such a big deal, and I'm so happy to be speaking with both of you today. How are you doing, Charles?
I'm doing awesome. I'm doing great. I'm doing really great. Happy Black History Month, everyone. Yeah, we do get an extra day this year. Every 4 years, we get an extra one. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm really happy to be here to just get to talk to this audience and spend some time chatting with you and Janelle.
You know what? I want to ask you a question. When do you get to nap?
So yeah, that's insomnia is my superpower. I'll just get that out there now. I do not nap. I sleep. I sleep I don't sleep as much as I should. We just leave it at that.
I hear you. So let's get Janelle on here, because I really want to learn a little bit more about the both of you. And maybe since we have you on screen, Charles, maybe tell me a little bit more about yourself, and then we'll go to Janelle.
Okay. First and foremost, in case it's not obvious, I'm Black. And so I would consider, what do I consider myself? I'm a social entrepreneur. So as far as what I do, I'm a business owner. I run a social enterprise that's focused, that's purpose first and profit second. and we're with a focus to end technology poverty in this business I started 8 years ago. And you've heard other things about my bio. I've spent many years in corporate, and my community work is very important. So I currently serve on more boards than I should be serving on. I think I'm on 5 boards currently, and that's but it is important and interesting work, and it is something I would like to impress upon members in the room that you should participate, get on boards. But that's yeah. So I'm a technologist at heart. I am specialist in AI, cybersecurity, things that are supposedly very hot right now, and I'm committed to making the Black community a significant part of life in Canada. Like, I believe that we belong here, and we're here to represent.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. You know what? That is heartwarming. I don't know why, but it is. I mean, the work that you do and the encouragement that you provide in terms of inspiring all of us to really serve on boards, it's something that I certainly need to do more of. So thank you so much for that reminder. And for those of you who are just joining us again, we are meeting with a few of our board members here at the BBPA, and we know how crucial their roles are, right? So we're so grateful to have you. Please feel free to just send some love in the chat. It is Black History Month. We're celebrating Black history, Black excellence. And we do that all year round at the BBPA, just in case you didn't know that. But let's talk to Janelle now. Janelle, let's hear a little bit more about yourself, lovely lady.
Thank you so much, Moy. So yeah, I mean, similar to Charles, I think that I've spent the better part of my career in roles and with organizations where I felt that I could have impact at the center. So social impact is really, really important to me. And, I started off my career in the not-for-profit sector. So, at various nonprofits, in fund development, really looking at how organizations, individuals can come together to, provide a social safety net to, members of society. And I think the big driver for me in doing what I do, and then, kind of evolving into corporate social responsibility, is that I have a firm belief that we all have something that we can give. And I have a firm belief that, when we are in a fortunate position in a variety of ways, that there's, it's incumbent upon us to figure out ways to give back. So, spending my time as a social impact and corporate social responsibility practitioner, and then also a DEI practitioner, those are kind of some of the core beliefs that I've taken into my career, and really just try to be in roles where at the end of the day, we all have stressful days at work, but at the end of the day, I know that, in spite of all the stress, that I was still doing something where I was having an impact and trying to change the world and make it a little bit better than when I entered it. So, I've spent the majority of my time doing that. I've been, an active volunteer as well. It's kind of been something that's been in my blood since high school. And I feel that as a first generation Canadian, my parents are both of St. Lucian heritage, I want to be able to sort of embrace what Canada has to offer, and then also help other individuals to, really find sort of their place and their way in excellence, and also in a way that we can all thrive. So it's a little about me.
Oh, that is a lot about you. Thank you so much. Thank you. I really appreciate you sharing that. Thank you. Thank you for your heart and your passion for the community, right? For the betterment of the community. And thanks for displaying the Black excellence that we often talk about here at the BBP, and with the work that you do in the wider community. We're going to hear more about the vision that you have for the BBPA in a little bit. But before we do that, I'd like to let's get a little up close and personal with both yourself and Charles. I know he talked about being hiking, and you shared a little bit in your bio. What is your favorite pastime?
For me, so two things that I absolutely love to do. I love to dance. So I actually did tap, jazz, and ballet for about 19 years. So I still do drop-in classes when I can, and do Zumba and things like that to kind of keep that dancing spirit. And I really love playing tennis. It's a lot of fun for me. I mean, obviously, I do most of it in the summertime, and being able to get outdoors. So those are two of the things that if you think of Janelle, you generally think of someone who loves to do those things.
Oh, that is amazing. Maybe you might do a tennis match one day. I do love tennis. I haven't played in a while, so I'm quite rusty. But thank you so much for sharing that. Once again, for those of you who are just joining us, we're speaking with Janelle St.Omer. She's the vice chair here at the BBPA, and Charles Buchanan, who is our director. Charles, your favorite pastime, can you share that with us?
So it would just be not just one pastime, but like I have my inside and my outside activities. So inside, the things people never see, I read a lot, and I write. I write short stories, and that's my inside work. I do spend a lot of time outside. I'm in the mountains year round, so the only thing that changes is my outfit and my shoe and my footwear. So I'm either hiking, or I've got ice skates on, or I'm snowshoeing, when I'm not in the mountains, I'm on very flat surfaces playing golf. That's so nice and quiet inside, very active outside. That's what
Do you see why it's important to really do these sessions to get up close and personal with our directors? Because I would have never known this about you, Janelle. We've never met. This is our first time meeting, but I want to be friends with you. Can we be friends? Like, I love to read, write. I mean, this is amazing. Charles, I'd love to read some of your short stories. Have you published anything as yet?
No, I don't think you're old enough to read my stories. Like they're no, I have not. No, I've got a whole collection going. That's a longer conversation. But yes, I do write. It's a genre called flash fiction. They're stories under 2,500 words, because it's for people with short attention span who want to write stories, and you just single session, just let it go. And
Wow.
yeah.
That sounds incredible. Listen, we need to connect. I need to learn more about the flash fiction stories that you've been writing lately. Fun fact. Let me hear, I want to hear give me a fun fact about you. I mean, you've just shared so many wonderful things in terms of your pastime, but what's something that we don't know about you, or we'd be surprised to know about you?
Well, I don't know. People have met. I'm not as short as I look on screen. I'm 6'3". That's not a fun fact. That's just a fact. But I'm. I don't. No, I don't. I can't really think of anything that I haven't shared yet. Janelle has more fun things going on than I do.
Janelle, let's hear from you.
Well, I can share a fun fact with Charles. He's very funny. And I think that folks would be surprised to know I find him to be a bit of a comedian. So, quite the funny guy on our board. So that's a fun fact about you. And then I think for myself, let's see. Okay, something people would be surprised to learn about me. I love mobster movies. So Goodfellas, Casino, The Godfather. I really love that genre. And oftentimes when I say that to folks, they're very, very surprised to hear that. I don't know why, but that's a little bit of a fun fact about me.
Oh, that is awesome. That is really great. Thank you so much. Wow. You know what? Am I allowed to do this, Janelle and Charles? Can we ask the individuals in the chat to ask a question to you? Maybe they might have a question that I think might be very enlightening for all of us, to spur up some conversation. But I know you have a love for community and for elevation of the Black community and so forth. Why did you join the BBPA?
Well, I was actually involved with the BBPA years ago as on the Young Professionals Committee when I was at TD. So I've been, kind of orbiting the organization for a number of years. And, I think for me, it was always a part of the mission that inspired me. So, Black excellence, education, entrepreneurship. I really do have a firm belief in the fact that, entrepreneurship is a great path for individuals within our community to intergenerational wealth, to building that sustainability, to looking at how we can uplift our entire community and do a lot of for us by us. So I think I got involved a number of years ago because of that. And when the opportunity came to join the board as well, I think that was at the heart of it. I love what the organization has done historically. I think that as individuals within the Black community, we continue to rise to new heights of excellence. I believe that there's so much in terms of the world that we can tackle with emerging industries, clean tech and fintech and agriculture and all these things. And I just feel like there's so much innovation and creativity that exists within our community. So helping entrepreneurs to find their place in that and to build thriving businesses that can be 100-year-old companies, I wanted to do my small part in being a part of that.
Thank you so much. Thank you for that. It's, a little bit makes such a big difference. You talk about small part, but it does have such a great impact. Janelle, do you mind asking or answering why you left TD?
I had been there for a number of years, and it was a fantastic opportunity during the time that I was there. An opportunity opened up, in the not-for-profit sector, and at the time, it, had sort of further alignment to my career aspirations. So I took the opportunity. I would say early in my career, I was, the individual who was not looking, but always looking at the same time, to see how I could continue to excel and ascend through my career. So, that was really the driving force behind that. But I still, to this day, continue to admire from afar the work that TD does, in particular, with its social impact and community relations programs. I certainly see them, and a lot of the banks as, leaders in really trying to influence community. And I know that we would at the BBPA work closely with them as well on a number of different initiatives. So.
Very nice, very nice. I'm also looking at the chat while you're speaking here. And I do see, good afternoon, all. Charles, is true that most business takes place on the golf course. And Janelle, how does BBPA work with artists if they do? Are you able to speak to that? We don't have to, can we speak to that? If not, we can get back to them. We can get back to them because I understand that not all questions you will have answers to.
I'm not sure. I don't know if Charles knows how we work with artists in particular, but I do know if there's probably an artist who's trying to, start up sort of a business specifically around, the selling of their art, developing a brick and mortars for their artwork. I believe that all of that would fit into our wheelhouse. I don't think that we have programs specifically related to arts and culture. Most of our programming is around the business side of things. So I believe that we'd be able to support any, organization or any artist who's kind of looking at the business fundamentals of growing what they're trying to do. Charles, do you have anything to add there?
No, I not at all. No, I think that's I don't think it's a blind spot. I think something we just don't know about the BBPA as yet, because I think I'm sure we help artists as in business, but I'm not sure what we do to in support of the arts.
Yeah, absolutely. I think based on what I've seen, the work that we do, it's throughout, it's anyone who owns a brand, really. It's a business owner, self-employed individuals, and like you talked about, the brick and mortars, the business plan development. So all across the board, the BBPA is here to serve, right? And that's what they've been doing. I have met a couple artists too that have gone through the programming at the BBPA. I do have, I have some questions. I'm going to encourage, I didn't know that I would get such an incredible response, Janelle and Charles.
We're in the hot seat, I like it.
I was asking more around fun facts, but we have people who want to know the ins and outs. And I'm going to encourage you also to join us next week when we get to speak with our vice chair, we get to speak with our vice president. So please do join us next week to get some of these questions answered if we're not able to answer them today. Okay, thank you so much for that. Bear with me a moment. Okay, so what I will do, some of these questions are so amazing. I do appreciate your questions. Okay, you know what? These are some excellent questions. We will probably save the harder ones for the vice chair next, or the chair, the chair next week. Ross will be on with us next week, Wednesday. We'll share many of them. I do want to go ahead though and talk about the vision of the BBPA. Is that something that you can share with us, Janelle and Charles, regarding what is the vision of the BBPA, especially like in light of us hiring a new CEO, which I think is quite exciting, actually. What is your vision for the BBPA?
Charles, want to take it?
Okay, I'll start. So my vision for the BBPA, which aligns with where the BBPA is going, I'll just back it up a little bit and just say why I joined the BBPA, and where I was invited initially to present to the Black Men in Business Boot Camp. So it was an incredible event. Like, I mean, I've been in Calgary for 31 years, and I started with the Calgary Black Chambers with a group of other Black business people so that we could make Calgary a place where Black people could thrive. And because we have nothing like the BBPA out here, like, so there's no, it was just like, instead of seeing each other on the street and just doing the nod that Black people do in smaller centers, we were saying, let's just find a place where we could congregate. So then when I got invited to speak to young Black men who are starting businesses like where I was probably when I started my first business in 1997. It was very encouraging, and it was just so there was so much love and energy in the space. And then when Ross reached out and said, would you consider joining the board? I'm like, absolutely. Like BBPA needs to go beyond beyond the GTA. Like, I mean, yes, BBPA operates outside of international, but it's truly got the ability to be the national organization for thriving Black businesses and Black professionals. And that's what I see as the vision for the BBPA. And everything that leads in that direction is something that we're all behind. So I'll let Janelle step in now, and then we can continue if there's more.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much. I love your passion, by the way. Oh my gosh. I'm inspired. I'm inspired.
Charles's passion is infectious. I think, echoing a lot of what he said, I think that there's a real opportunity, to continue to look at the national scale and scope of the organization, and to really ensure that coast to coast we are developing a thriving entrepreneurial sector within Canada. I also think that BBPA, has the opportunity as an organization. We think of vision in the future. We've been around for a really long time, and there are a number of organizations who have, of course, emerged over the years. But I think, that presence that we have in the community, being around for such a long time, we have the opportunity, I think, to, collaborate and to invite other organizations who are doing very meaningful work in as well, and to think about how we can come together in our various sort of, silos to continue to drive entrepreneurship and business within Canada. So when I think to the future, when I think of the vision, it's continuing along the sort of grassroots initiatives that we have, where we're helping businesses from the Rise Up pitch competition, or to, Boss Men, as Charles just talked about, some of the scholarships that we do for students to ensure that they're able to attend post-secondary education. And then I think there's also a lot in terms of the advocacy piece, the collaboration. I mean, Ross just talked about the fact that he's currently in Ottawa today. So there's an opportunity for us to, really help to drive some initiatives from a policy perspective, working with all levels of government around how we can eliminate barriers to success for entrepreneurs from the Black community. How we can kind of galvanize, from those grassroots perspectives, and then also work with, in other individuals. Because I think even if you're not an entrepreneur within the Black community, if you're a business professional or any type of professional, you have things that you can give, that you can lend. So whether you're a comms expert, you're a marketing expert, you've been, someone who's really focused on operations in the service industry, as an example, these are all skills that we have that we can lend to helping entrepreneurs who are trying to do great work, get their businesses off the ground. So, to me, it's the opportunity for, us to build our brand awareness so that more individuals know that we exist as an organization, and that so folks we can enter them in, and then they can figure out which way they can engage with the organization, either as a volunteer or as a business owner, or as someone who can really just sort of support the work, from a sort of wraparound perspective. So, that's the way that I see that we can continue to grow, both at that high level policy advocacy perspective, and then continue to really, really drive the grassroots initiatives that we have as well.
Oh, that was beautifully said. Thank you so much for that. Well said. Well said. And please put some love in the chat. I think you're just dropping some really great gems. And just reminding us too of just the pivotal role that we play in terms of, you talked about collaboration. I believe if we want to get far as a community, as a people, that we definitely need to collaborate. We need to work together. And the BBPA does provide that level of, I think, a community pillar for entrepreneurs, professionals, and individuals to really thrive beyond our generation. And you've been doing, you said 40 years old. I mean, the BBPA, you've been doing the work, and let's get on board. Let's volunteer. Let's get involved. Thank you so much for that. I do want to find out from both yourself and Charles, if what do you see as the biggest challenge facing the BBPA today? Is that something you can speak to?
Yeah, I mean, I can take a crack. Oh, Charles, you want to go?
No, go ahead. Keep going.
I can take a crack at it. I think one of the challenges, so not necessarily the biggest challenge, but I think, post George Floyd era, there was a lot of organizations, corporations, government programs that, emerged, from recognizing the systemic inequities that exist and affect, Black individuals across North America and even the globe. But, fast forward to here we are in 2024, we're certainly seeing some of those commitments wane, we're seeing the dollars dry up a little bit. So, for us, I think that continuing to partner at a very meaningful level with, all levels of government, with corporations from a funding perspective, to bring in donations to individuals who want to help us to continue to do the work. I think that is, and I don't look at it as an opportunity, I more look at it as a barrier, rather. I look at it as an opportunity. So, this is sort of a challenge that we have, but I don't think that it's something that's insurmountable, because we can continue to advocate for the relevancy of the BBPA and the work that we're doing. And I feel like once folks really understand the mission and the vision and how we do support, entrepreneurs with grants and loans and money to really help them in those kind of fundamental, crucial stages at the very beginning, folks really do buy in. So it's continuing, I think, to, build those relationships, to deliver that meaningful work, to look at things from a very strategic standpoint, so that, even though as a world, the individuals we might have kind of moved on from these things being very, very top of mind, we know that the need is still there. So I think it's incumbent upon us, and we have an opportunity as an organization to continue to, let folks know that we are here to see us, that we, do have needs just like any other business. We know that, typically Black and brown businesses are very underfunded from a VC perspective. When you then go one level deeper, we know that female businesses, as an example, are historically underfunded as well. So to continue to advocate for the real needs, and then also to look within ourselves and our communities where we can actually support each other, through funding and sort of microloans and all of those kinds of pieces as well. So I think that there's that's the barrier that kind of jumps out to me when you ask that question, but I really see it more as a problemtunity, Moy, that I think that we can certainly overcome through some strategies.
That is beautiful. Thank you. Did you say problemtunity?
I did.
I like that. I like that. That's a new word. I absolutely love that. Charles, what are your thoughts?
So yeah, so the challenges would come in, there are more challenges that the BBPA faces, and I think they come in three areas. Revenue is one. We need money to do the work we do. And to what Janelle said, yes, funds have not dried up, but funds have become more difficult to obtain. And it's but we are strong, we're resilient, we're tough people. We will find a way around it. So the revenue side, yes, we need money to do the work we do, to support the communities we support our entrepreneurs and our professionals. That's one. Secondly, it's around relevance. And relevance is not that the BBPA is not important, but it's around people knowing the value, or it's our job to communicate the value of what we do and the strength of what we do, and tell our story in, really big ourselves up, right, out there, right? That's what there needs to be more of that. So people could say, yes, the BBPA is the place to go, the place to be, to make things happen. And then the other thing is around reach. And reach is, I'm going to see it more as, are there people that we're not attending to, in terms of people in our community, certain entrepreneurs, people starting to try certain businesses, professionals trying to do certain things, as well as geographic reach. And I'm very big on that. We should have more board members that are outside, and more people and more members of the BBPA that are well outside of that are a long ways from Toronto. So reach, relevance, and revenue is pretty much the areas where I see the challenges. But what we will overcome them. And then the other thing that might be happening, which affects all of these things, is the blowback that we're getting about DEI programs. And Janelle could probably speak more about that, because she's an expert in that space. But there is now a pushback from the other side, from people who are not necessarily supporters or want us to progress, that they're pushing back. And I worry that could start affecting Black businesses.
You've just opened up a can of worms. I'm not sure if someone wants, Janelle, did you want to speak a little bit more about that? Because I'm sure the audience members want to know a little bit more about what.
Sure, yeah, I can touch on it a little bit. And it's so interesting. There's so much controversy, I guess you could say, to blatant disregard for the concepts of diversity, equity, and inclusion. But I do think, and I tend to look at things from the optimistic perspective. I do have hope that there are a number of individuals, there are a number of organizations, government entities, corporations who are truly committed to diversity, equity, and inclusion, who recognize not only the strategic business benefits to having a more diverse and inclusive workforce, but then also from that equity standpoint, one where employees do feel that sense of belonging, they want to stay, you're able to retain that top talent. I mean, there's studies upon studies from McKinsey and other professional service firms, just talking about that business benefit of DEI. So, whereas I think that, yes, right now there's certainly an attack on DEI overall, I do think that there's still an opportunity to speak about how DEI is important to the business and have it be something that doesn't sit over here that folks feel, concerned about, or it gets their back up against the wall because they just hear the verbiage and they don't really understand what it means. But to really think about it like any other strategic business imperative that you need to have that helps your business grow, from an employee perspective, from a brand perspective, with whatever it is that you're trying to do, with your consumers or otherwise. Because at the end of the day, we know, companies and, nonprofit entities, they're in it for the long haul. So DEI, when done right and when done well, helps companies in the long run. And I think in the war for top talent, which we continue to be in, we had a couple of years ago, the great resignation, as we call it, and now we're kind of in this, softer market, but we are seeing individuals who are standing up and saying, I don't have to work within the context of these corporations if I don't feel like I belong, if I don't feel like I can thrive and do my best work, and they're not systems, policies, procedures and structures to help me to do my best work and stay within this company, I don't have to stay. And I think that that's actually how BBPA kind of relates to it, because then you're seeing a number of individuals who are going on to become solopreneurs and entrepreneurs, and they're starting things on their own. So I do think, yes, there's a lot of noise around DEI right now. I do think that it will start to wane. And I think that the more individuals who, are educated around what it actually means within the context of the workplace, and, it does help for the bottom line of the business, in addition to individuals, and really and truly, it is the right thing to do. I do believe that it will not die, because I've literally seen Twitter articles saying DEI must die. It will not die, but there might just be a tweaking or a repositioning of how we think about the concepts of equity. Because if you think of talent strategies, if you think of, performance-based strategies, and you think of benefits, you think of all the things that companies are trying to think about with employees, all of those things kind of tie into culture. And, we know culture is top of mind for a lot of corporations. We know that CEOs are trying to think of their talent retention strategies. And in many cases, DEI should just be completely aligned to your talent retention strategy. So it's not just about Black, it's not just about white, it's not just about LGBTQ community. It really is about, if you want to build a culture that thrives within your company, you need to be able to think about, how diverse it is, how inclusive it is, and how equitable it is in all of your, from top to bottom, every department, everything that you do. You need to be thinking about it from that DEI lens. So that was a very long-winded way of answering your question, Moy, but
no, but
I think about all the time.
It is an excellent answer, and I do appreciate your passion where that is concerned. Now, are you familiar with the 50-30 challenge? And I know the BBPA does do some work with the 50-30 challenge. We learned over the last couple of weeks more about that. And the importance of it. So I think with all of what you're saying, Janelle, I think the 50-30 challenge may be an avenue of how we can continue to increase diversity and fight for inclusion and equity within organizations and society.
Absolutely. Yeah, I agree with you wholeheartedly. And I want to just touch on a part of what Charles said, and also a question in the chat around Quebec in particular, and also the nation's capital. So, Charles did allude to the fact that we recognize that coast to coast, we do need to have more of a presence. We do have a new, CEO at our organization who, is going to be tasked with thinking about how the organization can grow and really have that national presence. So, chapters outside the GTA I think is a great idea. Leanne is actually, bilingual. So for our Francophone population, we are mindful of, the Francophone and the growing Francophone community within Canada as well. So it's certainly something that is on our radar to be able to address. And I think that, we're all of the view do both at the board level and from operational level, that, having a presence and being able to sort of galvanize in small communities across the country is going to help us to do that work. I know that our interim CEO and our board chair and a number of folks a couple of years ago did a cross-country sort of road tour as well. I believe that they went all the way up to Nunavut. So, we really have started that work and will continue that work to ensure that entrepreneurs across the country do feel supported by what we do.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you. I'm glad you mentioned Leanne. I don't know if she's online right now, but I hope we'll have a session where we get to meet her officially.
I believe that's
Charles,
coming, yes.
I'm sorry?
I believe that a session with Leanne is coming as well. So the community will have an opportunity to meet her.
Perfect, perfect. I want to reflect a little bit on just the significance. I mean, you've spoken so very well. Your passion is incredible. It's unmatched, I would say. Can you reflect on a significant achievement or milestone the BBPA has reached under your leadership or contribution?
Well, I've only been on the BBPA board for a little over a couple of years. So it's I think I don't want to, I would not want to say take credit for anything that's changed in the organization, but we have a great board and a very hardworking, small but very hardworking team of people or staffers at the BBPA, people who are committed to doing their work. And so I think it's more what we're positioned to do, the opportunity that lies ahead than the accomplishments that we've had so far. Accomplishment, I would say, would be stability and being at the starting gate to do some great things and that is an achievement.
Amazing, thank you. I'm going to take a moment here just for individuals in the chat. There are a couple comments of just commenting on you both as a speakers, but let's take a moment to just really, with what you just said. You have a small team who are dedicated. I don't remember your exact words, but we really want to just commend the BBPAs as we're celebrating Black History Month and the roles that not just yourself as directors, but the small team that you have at the BBPA that you've played over the years and the obstacles that you've had to overcome, the challenges, funding and otherwise, how you continue the work despite the challenges. I am just incredibly appreciative and grateful to be a part of this BBPA's community. And let's just give them some love. I mean, we don't know who they all are. We're just getting to meet the board members and so forth, but let's drop some love in the chats. Let's use your reactions, your emotions, and let's really give them some love. Ross, who is the chair, he's in Ottawa right now. He's on the road. He's in and out of meetings. We have Stephanie, who is the program manager, Francis Del Sol. I mean, the work it's continuous. They are on the go, and let's give them a round of applause, virtual applause. I'm just, again, so proud of the work that you're doing in delivering Black excellence on a day-to-day basis, 365 days of the year, not just during the month of Black history. And I really, myself, appreciate you for the work that you're doing, the BBPA. So thank you so much for that. Thank you for everyone in the chat. And I'm going to go over to Janelle to answer the next question. Can we do that? Or
yeah, before you do that,
I think.
I actually just want to echo your thanks, and I want to direct the thanks towards the team members at the BBPA. I mean, we're the board. We work, in a close capacity with individuals, but you mentioned some names, Stephanie and Francis Del Sol. They really are the life and the breath and the heart of this organization. And I know it was one of the things that was most eye-opening to me when I joined the board about, how small but very mighty, to Charles's point, the staff team is at the BBPA. So for all of you who are listening, I just want to say thank you for the work that you do, the tireless efforts, the commitment, the dedication, the passion that you bring to your work every single day. And, myself as a board member, I'm just, constantly in awe and inspired by each and every one of you every single day. So, I just wanted to kind of echo Moy's thanks and really ensure that we probably don't as a board say it enough. Thank you for all that you do.
Absolutely. Janelle, thank you for that. And let's not forget Michelle. I may not know all of them. Michelle and OSAS, the incredible work you do with the social media platforms. Thank you so much. Oh my goodness. Charles, I need you back on stage, please. Thank you. Lee, Cordelia, Morgani, thank you, Francis. We appreciate that. Did you want to make comment or piggyback on what
Well, so the only thing I would say is like it's shocking how few people actually work at the BBPA, considering how much work the organization does. The strength of the programs, the reach of it's incredible. And yes, I echo Janelle. Thank you.
Perfect. Can you
Yeah.
tell us of any lessons that you've learned in the process? This is about our last question, I believe. The last question I have for you anyway.
Lessons learned in the process. It's that no matter where in the country we are like as Black people who are committed to excellence in our community and being good models for the people up and coming, we have a lot in common. Like I remember our first board retreat, it was like meeting people who were, it was almost like family. Like, I mean, there was no, we just people were very aligned. It didn't take any time to get alignment on the mission, where we trying to go, what our vision, a common vision for the Black community, and yes, and we're here, and we're and we are going to do very well here, and we're here to help each other do well. So I've that's one thing I've learned, that it's and it's infectious. Like you can feel the love, you can feel the strength, you can feel the contribution, and I would love to spend more time with members of the BBPA, direct one-on-one or in groups, just helping them achieve what be the best they can be.
Amazing. Thank you. Janelle, the obstacles or the lessons that you've learned in the process?
I think one of the biggest lessons, and I saw this early on joining the board and continue to see this, is that when we truly work together in a meaningful way, where we can put, egos aside, where we can think of, what the value that we all bring to the table, we are unstoppable. And I think that this spreads, far beyond the BBPA board and staff, but, really as a community, as Black people, as a community, I think that, when we come together and support one another, there is so much power in that. And I mean, admittedly, I think we could do a little bit more of that. And I think that we would be unstoppable if we were able to do this. So I think that's one of the things that I've seen, is that, when we can truly work together, to think of things from that innovation perspective, to think of how we can disrupt, how we can change, how we can even take the same thing that we've been looking at for 40 years and, perhaps turn it on its head a little bit and find the, new and unique angle to how we can solve that problem. There's so much magic and so much power in that. And, I just love how we collaborate. And I think we'll continue to, as an organization, collaborate, and the board will collaborate with the team will collaborate, with other organizations. And as a community, I feel like, if that's one message, I guess, or nugget I can leave with everybody listening today, it's like, as Black people, let's get together, let's work together, let's do this, because if we do, the sky or the moon is the limit for us.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well done. Thank you. I hope those weren't your final words, because that was my next question, but I do want to get in the chat for a minute here. Oliaton says the thing about them we find inspiring is that they are in touch and they stay in touch. Well done. Consistency definitely is key. Thank you, Oliaton. Kudos to you all for carrying forward this legacy of Black excellence created by some formidable Black leaders some 4 decades ago, Denham Jolly and co. Absolutely. Thank you, Sarah. And Oliaton says, Stephanie, Francis, Ross, all BBPA team, God bless you all. Awesome. And we see some love in the chat. This is amazing. I hope what we can do is capture some of these questions that we weren't able to get to. And then hopefully we can answer them in future sessions. Bernadette says, amen. Let me read hers. I really wish we could have the true mentality of working together instead of the crabs in a bucket. We've heard that before, and not sharing resources and information. We have the capacity and the knowledge to conquer all things and make the best for our people. Thank you for your comment. There was a wealth of gems shared from you both. Thank you. From Shomanique. Karen says, please define specifically how you can support Black business and entrepreneurs. And I think Francis just responded to that. It's been
And
an
Moy,
incredible.
I can touch
Go
on
ahead.
that a little bit as well, Karen. So
Absolutely, go
we
ahead.
have a number of different programs for entrepreneurs specifically. So, you know, whether it be the Rise Up Pitch competition for women, you know, the Boss Women's program, we do have mentorship. We offer financial literacy programs as well to business owners. You know, there's youth scholarship programs to ensure that they're achieving, you know, post-secondary success and going on to the post-secondary organizations. We have programs in Little Jamaica specifically targeted towards entrepreneurs in Little Jamaica. We have programs for Caribbean entrepreneurs. We work very closely across the board with really trying to figure out how we can have wraparound services for entrepreneurs. So, you know, even this Ask a Professional series, you know, today we're talking to myself and Charles as board members, but, you know, we consistently will bring on various entrepreneurs, you know, in this Ask a Professional series where you can one-on-one hear from other entrepreneurs who have been there in the trenches, done that. So whether it is from an operational standpoint, you know, the legalities of setting up your business, directing you to how to register your business, all of those things are covered. And then also we have a program, you know, called Get On Board, looking at how we can help other individuals to get on boards, you know, for businesses within the community as well. So, you know, if you're looking for a board member, that can certainly, you know, support you in that. As well. So there's a number of, as Francis said, please do visit our website, but I certainly did want to touch on the question because there's a number of programs that we have specifically geared towards helping entrepreneurs get their businesses off the ground, and the various, you know, advisory services and of course specific funding services that we have for small businesses as well.
Certainly.
So
thank you. Yes, that was beautiful. Thank you for sharing all of that. And I'll get your final words before we go to the announcements, which we have in just a couple of minutes. I do want to read Bernadette's question or message here. Nova Scotia would love to have a chapter here as we're the birthplace of the Indigenous African Nova Scotians. It makes great sense. Please reach out to me and we will establish a team to make it happen. Bernadette, okay, so she's given all her information. She says the BBPA is a great organization and she has benefited tremendously. It would be an honor to host you in Halifax. Thank you so much for that. I've seen you've turned on your cameras, Bernadette. Thank you for being with us. Thank you for supporting us. We appreciate your kind words.
Absolutely.
So,
and Bernadette, I'll actually add, we do actually have an East Coast presence. So Tosin, who is one of our current board members, so he is actually in, I believe that he's in Fredericton, New Brunswick, and not in Nova Scotia specifically, but, you know, still East Coast. And he's actually an entrepreneur that helps individuals who are newcomers to Canada to not only settle and to develop businesses, but to actually look at how they can quite quickly establish credit here in the country. So, you know, he's East Coast, and we'd be happy to connect you with him as well to further develop our East Coast presence. So thank you so much for volunteering and putting yourself on camera.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. This has been incredible. Well, Charles and Janelle, Vice Chair and Director, would you mind just sharing your final words before we go on to the announcements, please? It's been incredible, by the way, inspiring, incredible.
So I'll start and I'll be brief so that Janelle could close us out. So yeah, this was an absolute pleasure, and thank you for your support of the BBPA. We are here for you, and we want to hear if we're missing anything, what else we could be doing for the community. And once again, happy Black History Month. Stay progressive, stay Black.
You are funny, Charles.
I told you he's a funny guy. But yeah, thank you all for you know, coming to this session, taking time out of your busy days to attend. For those of you who are members, thank you for your continued support. For those of you who participate in the events, thank you for, you know, participating in those. I know we're going to have some announcements, but the Harry Jerome Awards are coming up, you know, at the end of April. It is our signature marquee event that we have every single year. Every time I'm in this room, I just feel like you're almost in the Oscars of Black people, and just being amongst, you know, individuals who are doing such amazing work. So, you know, I would encourage everybody who's participating today to come and to bring a friend as well. And, you know, just continue to know and continue to remember that, you know, we can do a lot when we come together. And, you know, innovation and excellence and creativity, it is innate to Black individuals, whether you are from the African diaspora, the Caribbean diaspora. We all can overcome. We have overcome, we'll continue to overcome and do amazing things. So, if you see a Black person today, support them, smile at them, give them a compliment, give them a shout out, make their day, because I feel like through infusing a sense of joy, infusing a sense of community, infusing a sense of giving back, we can do all things. So thank you all for everything that you do and for being who you are and continuing to support the BBPA.
That was our mic drop moment right there. We'll go over to the announcements. Audience members, you've taken the time to join us today. Thank you so much for your engagement in the chat. Matthew says, amazing. Mathingani says, coming for the first time, this was a good session. Thank you all for being a part of our community. Please stay connected. Please keep in touch. Join these sessions every Wednesday. We are here for it. We're here for you.